We're going to be talking about I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. There was a big debate about Brexit. Have a watch.
The thing is the intolerance that came because Brexit was about immigration. And I remember your poster,
Yeah,
which I thought it was shameful what you did, Nigel.
Sadly, it was absolutely true.
What was the poster, sorry? Can I just cut in? Can you educate
It was a poster just showing mass young men moving illegally across borders.
But it was about demonising migrants.
And saying that was wrong.
No, it wasn't. Maybe in your view it was, but it wasn't.
But it's not only just my view.
Tonia, I love seeing that frank debate like that. I think maybe Nigel probably had a little bit more to say that lost in the edit.
Yeah.
Weren't you fascinated by the way the other celebrities scuttled away and didn't want to engage with it?
Yeah, no, I'm not fascinated. It's exactly how they behave, isn't it? Because they're pathetic and spineless, and they should have...
I know what you mean, Tonia.
Well, the reality is
I
they've
agree.
got lots to say when they're writing their columns, they've got lots to say when they're doing their Instagrams, they've got lots to say then. When they've got the man they can actually ask a question to...
Yeah, good point.
They scuttle off. I thought it was pathetic. And also, I do think that it was lost in the edit. I know that Nigel had a lot to say. And Fred was completely flummoxed in the sense that he said, oh, you're a shameful poster. What did it show? It showed loads of men arriving in the country.
And they still are.
And they still are, and it proved to be true. So what was shameful about telling the truth?
That poster is so memorable, Nigel.
Yeah,
and it does still... it doesn't always do Nigel any favours, does it? Because it kind of reduced what was quite a complex conversation to something, a very powerful and reductive image.
Yes, it does. And I think that was interesting that it came up last night, because you remember the poster, you don't remember the issues behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, the issue behind Brexit was sovereignty. It was about being able to make our own laws in this country, controlling borders, which we failed to do, so Brexit hasn't delivered that. But I thought the poster was appalling. I thought that it was verging on racism, and I'm not sure that Nigel would actually do that poster again if he was repeating the whole thing.
I agree.
And it did cause tension in the Brexit camp because people like Michael Gove didn't support the poster, if you
distanced
recall.
himself from it immediately,
because there was vote leave and then there was Nigel's side of the argument.
Yes, that's right. I mean, I think on both sides during the whole Brexit thing that the arguments being put forward were disgraceful, and that goes for the Remainers side as much as it does for the Brexit side. We should have actually had a chance to consider that more soberly than we did. My view is if you're going to make huge changes like that, something like a Royal Commission to examine all the evidence will be much better than a political campaign which just made things up.
Oh, but Nigel, you know, a Royal Commission takes 5 years to report.
Well, not necessarily. You can do it.
Kicking it into the long grass.
You can do it in a year. We haven't had one since I think 1999 or something.
Right.
So it may be, but something like that, where people are presented with the evidence and not a political campaign. And in fairness to what happened last night on I'm a Celeb, Nigel was actually explaining that.
Yeah.
He was explaining to the campmates what Brexit was in the simplest possible terms.
And he does it in a very good way, I think.
Yeah, and so there was nothing he said last night about Brexit. I would disagree as far as the facts are concerned.
But the reason they scuttled off is because then they won't be able to keep calling him a xenophobic racist.
Yeah.
He explains it nicely.
I think they scuttled off because they have more important things in the jungle to worry about.
No, they went to wash up. They went to wash up.
Because Hancock, when he was in the jungle, Matt Hancock, was under sustained criticism. Remember by Boy George?
Oh, not enough.
Over COVID. But there was a great opportunity last night for them all to get stuck in, and I thought they were all going to get stuck in on night, and I thought he's going to have his...
But you know what? But I think you're right, Tonia, because it shows, especially people like Grace Dent, who is a journalist, she can be a biting writer.
She can be. She's very gobby.
Get stuck in.
And get in there. You've got something to say. Don't just scuttle off.
Well, they've got a few more weeks yet to have a go.
Yeah, there is.
I can't see it changing. I think they're all going to see how bright and intelligent Nigel is and how he's got a great, competent argument, and they're going to be talking less and less about it.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be made to look like fools because they don't have the answers. They've just had this kind of slogan that they're going to use against it without any real gravitas behind it.
We were talking to Chris Biggins a little earlier, Tonia, and we asked him, can he win? Christopher won, of course, famously. He said, absolutely not. Do you think he can?
I think he'll be in the last three.
So do I.
I do think he'll be in the last three. I know Josie. She's the sweetest, kindest, most lovely woman on earth. So I think if she's allowed to shine through, she will win the hearts and minds of the public.
She's got that great Bristol accent, hasn't
she? And the
she?
young lot. I mean, my daughter was watching it last night because Nella's in there. She would not have been watching it.
She's the only one that my daughters know is Nella Rose.
Exactly.
I know her, because I know her.
It's that division between the generations. She's not on proper telly. She's a YouTuber.